This is ANN News Brief.
Good morning, I'm Lucy Adeyemi. The leadership of foodstuff and cattle dealers has agreed to end the strike that has led to blockade of food produce supplies to the south. The strike was called off after an agreement was reached in Abuja on Wednesday with some governors. Northern Group Arewa Consultative Forum had slammed the blockade of food supply to the country's south as an extreme measure it calls unprogressive and counterproductive. The forum expressed concern over the decision of Amalgamated Union of Foodstuff and Cattle Dealers to hold food items from the north to the south. ACF said in a statement on Tuesday in Kaduna the union's action would only complicate the social, economic, and political challenges facing the country. It says there is no need for one section of the country to mount a blockade against the other. ACF leadership says it is willing to help solve whatever may be the difficulties of their members in operating in other parts of the country. The group says Nigeria was not at war and such drastic action was unnecessary. The union went on strike over claims of losing their members and properties during the Ibadan Shasha market chaos and the hashtag #EndSARS protest. Meanwhile, the United Nations has warned violence in northwestern Nigeria is causing people to flee into neighboring Niger, where violence is also on the rise. UN Refugee Agency, UNHCR, says fears of armed groups and communal clashes in Nigeria had sent more than 7,000 Nigerians fleeing into Niger's southern Maradi region since the start of the year, most of whom are women and children displaced following recent attacks in Sokoto State. The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, has advised government to reopen schools. The organization says keeping students out of school has profound impact, especially on vulnerable and marginalized children. The UN agency has called on world leaders to reopen schools as soon as possible within coronavirus prevention sanitary guidelines. UNICEF unveiled on Wednesday a pandemic classroom, a model classroom made up of 168 empty desks, each representing 1 million children worldwide, whose schools have been entirely closed for almost a year because of COVID-19 lockdowns. The Global Chief of Education for UNICEF, Robert Jenkins, says schools should be the first to open during the reopening process. Jenkins said the percentage of teenage pregnancies and incidents of sexual-based violence in Africa increased significantly as a result of prolonged school closures from previous pandemics like the Ebola crisis in West Africa. Latest UNESCO data show nearly 900 million children worldwide still face disruptions to their education as a result of full and partial school closures. We'll be right back.
Whether in your house, at your office, on your phone or online, we are there. We have the facts behind the headlines. We cut to the chase with the news you really need. We cover every angle. We are the bigger, better news network. We are African News Network. ANN. Watch ANN News on MITV from a truly African spirit.
South Sudan's President Salva Kiir has ordered the suspension of the operations of a local airline whose plane crashed on Tuesday, killing all on board. A plane crash in South Sudan killed all 10 persons on board. Authorities in the country have confirmed that a small plane crashed on Tuesday evening, shortly after takeoff at Pieri Airstrip in the eastern Jonglei state, while heading to the capital, Juba. Transport Minister Madut Biayel says a team of investigators was being sent to the site of the crash to conduct preliminary investigations. Jonglei State Governor Dene Jok Shagol says he received the news with shock and horror and sent condolences to the families and friends of the deceased. The plane belonged to the South Supreme Airlines, a local aviation company. That is ANN News Brief at 11. For details on these and other breaking stories, visit our website, annafrica.news. Conversation continues on our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at ANN Africa TV. I'm Lucy Adeyemi.